I watched 24 Netflix movies, so you don't have to.
Great way. Yellow sand look like SpongeBob. You still rock bottom at the bus stop, bitch. Squirt nose up in your hole. Dick in the sandy cheek, she touch her toes. Leaning like the tower of pizza. Eating my.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. And as you probably can tell by the title and thumbnail, I watched 24 Netflix movies, so you don't have to. Basically, I ranked every single movie I watched from 1 being the best to 24 being like a meh, okay, like movie. So without further ado, because I know this video is going to be literally an eternity long, let's get right into the video. Disclaimer, while you guys are watching, this is my personal opinion on all of these movies. Some of the movies that are ranked lower on my list might be your all-time favorite movies. So you guys can take my advice on what movies to watch, and if you don't like the movie, you don't like the movie. Everyone has their own preferences. So in the top spot, I have Burlesque. This movie was released all the way back in 2010. It stars the amazing Christina Aguilera as well as Cher, and I'm pretty sure that's probably why it's my favorite movie, because it has Cher and Christina Aguilera in it. But I will say that this is probably one of the movies that I could watch over and over and over and over and over again, and trust me, I have, that I will continue to watch over and over and over and over again, because it is one of those movies that I could just watch a million times and never get bored. In the number 2 spot, and the other movie that was tied for first, is To All the Boys I've Loved Before. This is a more recent release. This is back in 2019, and this movie overall, I think, when it first came out, I was kind of like, meh, but I watched the movie and I actually really enjoyed it, and I have watched it since then probably 8 or 9 times. I swear to God, I've watched this movie so much that there's scenes I can quote. Overall, I think this movie is a really cute, like, teen romance movie, so if you're into that kind of, like, romantic teen drama movie, this is definitely a must-see. I'm not going to explain what happens in the movie because I feel like you should go watch it. Definitely a must-see, would recommend watching. In my number 3 spot is Someone Great. So this movie is about a girl going through a breakup with her long-term boyfriend of 9 years because she's moving to San Francisco for a job. I'm not going to tell you guys a lot about her job or anything like that. You guys should definitely go watch the movie if you want to know more about this movie. I personally think this is so high up on my list because it stars one of my favorite actresses, Gina Rodriguez. She plays Jane in Jane the Virgin, and Jane the Virgin is one of my all-time favorite TV shows, so that's probably why this movie is so high up. I think it shows, like, a breakup process in a pretty funny comedic way, but also shows that, like, a lot has happened to her. I think this movie is definitely worth a watch if you enjoy, like, the breakup movies that are, like, empowering women and showing that they can do anything, that you don't need a man. So I would suggest watching. In my number 4 spot is The Perks of Being a Wallflower. I don't even think I need to explain this movie. Literally everyone and their mother has probably seen this movie because it did come out in 2012. So it has been out for a very long time. So pretty much everyone has seen this movie. And I feel like I can't even do it justice giving it a short explanation. So I just think overall, go watch the movie if you haven't already. It's definitely worth it. And if you have watched it, watch it again. I've watched it like 4 times, and every single time I love it just as much as the first time. In my number 5 spot is Airplane Mode. Now, disclaimer, this is not the airplane mode that has Logan Paul in it. I don't even think that's on Netflix. Even if it was, I wouldn't even recommend that movie because personally, I don't like the Logan Paul. No offense if you like them. I just don't. It's just a personal opinion. This movie is a very recent release. It came out in 2020. It is originally filmed in Portuguese and then translated and voiced over in English. I was gonna say American, but it's English. Duh. So it is a cool, interesting movie to watch, but when I was first watching, I didn't realize that it was filmed in a different language until I started watching their mouth, and I was like, they're not even saying the words. I think it's really cool of Netflix to be translating and voicing over some movies and shows that are in different languages. I personally have watched the show Go. If you guys want to go watch it, I definitely would recommend. It's a really good show, besides the point, I guess. Originally filmed in a different language and is voiced over in English, and I think it's really cool that we get to watch shows. Even if you're not fluent in the language, you get to still enjoy the show. Sometimes these movies and shows that are filmed in different languages are some of the best movies. So I would totally suggest that movie because I think it's really cool. and I overall just like the storyline. In my number 6 spot, I have The Spectacular Now. This is another like teen romance movie, and overall I think it's a really cute movie. So it was originally released in 2013, so I am assuming that majority have already seen this movie. But if you haven't, I would suggest watching it. It's a pretty cute movie, especially if you like those like teen romance movies. I think it is definitely worth a watch. Yeah. In my number 7, I have the movie After. Now, this movie was not rated very well on Rotten Tomatoes. I think it got like a 17% or something. But I personally think this movie is pretty good. The first time I watched it, I was kind of like, meh. But then I watched it again, and I definitely started to really see all of the really funny, cute details of this movie. Overall, I think it's a cute movie. Again, another teen sort of romance, except this one's based in college with a girl who has a boyfriend that's in high school. She goes off to college, meets a guy, whole thing. It's a very interesting movie, so I would suggest watching. Yeah, that's kind of it. In my number 8, I have The Edge of 17. Now, this movie, at first it was ranked a little bit higher than After and The Spectacular Now, but I ended up putting it below them because I didn't really enjoy the movie till like the third time I watched it. If you can't tell, I've watched a lot of these movies more than once, so I've definitely got a good grasp on the movie. Basically, her best friend ends up doing some stuff with her brother, and a lot of drama happens, and a lot of things happen throughout the movie that I'm not going to tell you guys because I think you guys should totally go watch it. This is from 2016, so again, it is an older movie, sort of. Not really, though. It's not the oldest, but it's also a little bit older than a few of the movies that I'm going to talk about later. But I definitely would suggest watching this movie. It's a pretty cute movie, and there are a lot of very familiar faces that are playing some of the lead characters that I think are pretty cool. In my number 9 spot, I have The Outcasts. Well, this movie I think is ranked so high because I've watched it so many times, and I just overall love this movie. It's about these two best friends who basically try to overthrow the popularity and clique thing of high school. I'm not going to tell you what happens because I think you guys should definitely go watch the movie. Another plus is that it has Victoria Justice and, oh my god, what is his name? I'll put his face on the screen. He plays Beck in Victorious, and of course Victoria Justice plays Victoria, or Tori on Victorious. And I think it's really cute that in this movie they're actually love interests. I think that's really funny because in Victorious they are definitely not each other's love interest in that show. I think it's pretty cute. It's from 2017. Overall, I think it's a pretty good movie, and it's worth a watch if you're interested in like the funny, more comedic way of looking at high school. In my number 10 spot, I have the movie Dude. This movie, again, has a lot of familiar faces in it. It has the actress from Pretty Little Liars, Lucy Hale. She's amazing. She's also the main character of this movie. Overall, I think it's a really good movie, especially if you're into like very angsty teen, I guess, almost. It is only rated TV for mature audiences, even though it does talk about like smoking weed and things like that, and also some other stuff. But overall, it's a really good movie. I enjoy it. I like watching it, so would suggest. Number 11 is another very recent release. It is the movie The Half of It. So again, this is a recent release. It was released in 2020, so it is a newer movie. It is a pretty interesting movie. It kind of follows the storyline of this young girl who lives in this like boring small town. Kids in her school pay her to write them essays for English, and the English teacher knows, which is like the funniest part. Basically, this kid pays her to write love letters from him to this other girl, and I'm not going to spoil too much of the movie, but overall, it was a really cute movie. I didn't really start to enjoy the movie till like stuff started to pick up and it got really interesting. I'd say yeah, watch it if you want to, but it's a good movie. I would think it's worth a watch. So, in my number 12 spot, I have Naomi and Eli's No Kiss List. This movie is from 2015, again starring the very amazing Victoria Justice. I feel like she stars in like a couple of these movies on this list actually, which is a little odd. It's worth a watch. That's kind of it. That's why it's in the middle. It's worth a watch, but if you don't want to watch it, you don't have to. It's about these two best friends who, of course, the title of the movie kind of explains it, has a no-kiss list, a list of people that they both are not allowed to have relationships with. And then stuff happens in the movie and all that stuff. I'm not going to spoil too much, but I would say if you're interested in it, if you enjoy watching Victoria Justice. I also think it has that one guy. What is his name? I don't remember his name. I'll put his face. But he overall is a really good actor, so I think the movie's worth a watch. In my 13th spot, I have To the Bone. This movie is from 2017 and it sheds light into the life of someone with an eating disorder. I personally think this movie is amazing. It's a really good movie. It's just not my personal favorite. That's why it's ranked number 13 on this list. But I definitely think it's worth a watch, even though it's so low. I definitely would suggest watching it. Number 14 is The Kissing Booth. This was out in 2018. I personally think this movie isn't that bad, except the first time I did watch it, I didn't enjoy, but the second time watching it, I did enjoy a little bit more, and every time since then I've watched it, I have enjoyed it more than the first time I watched it. I think that a lot of people were like, this is kind of generic, you know, guy and girl are best friends, girl falls in love with best friend's brother, like, it's very generic, but I think overall the movie is kind of interesting, is worth a watch, I guess. Yeah, I'd say, you watch it, might as well. Number 15 is Set It Up. This is another 2018 release. This movie is about these two assistants who set up their bosses to like go on a date, and they end up dating, and then stuff happens, and I'm not going to spoil too much. But this movie was really good when I watched it. I don't think that I would probably watch it again unless like someone really wanted to watch it. It was a good movie. That's all I have to say. Watch it if you want to. It's a cool movie, but personally not my favorite. In the 16th spot, I have The Perfect Date. This is a 2019 release. It's about this guy who's trying to pay for college. He basically makes an app where a girl can pay him to basically almost play this character and go on a date with her, or go on a date to somewhere with her, where basically he gets paid for it, and he's taking all the money he makes from said app to pay for college. His friend actually makes the app, which is kind of funny. But overall, it's a good movie. I just personally didn't enjoy it that much. It has the actress from Austin and Ally in it, Laura Marano. Personally love her. She's not the main character, but I like her character a lot. I think her character's really cute. So, yeah. In the 17th spot, I have Tall Girl. Now, I know that whole meme, you try being 6'1" and wearing size 13 Nikes, and that whole thing was going around and is still going around now even. And I think I was a little biased by that joke when I first watched this movie, but I have watched it again since the first time I watched it. I will say, it is a pretty good movie, other than the fact that they're over-exaggerating that she's like a giant. She's really not that tall. Personally, I know people and girls who are taller than her, so it's a good movie. I'd say watch it if you want to. It is based in New Orleans, which I think is really cool, so worth a watch. In my 18th spot, I have 6 Years. This movie is from 2015. It's about this couple who have, guess what, been together for 6 years. And the guy is a senior in college. The girl, I think, is a junior in college, I think. It follows like around a week sort of in their life, and basically like stuff that goes on in their relationship and how it sort of changes, I guess, as you grow older. Overall, it's a good movie. Would recommend, I guess. It's a good movie. I just didn't enjoy it the first time because I really didn't get it. But overall, I think it's a cute movie. In my 19th spot, I have Candy Jar. This movie is from 2018. It's basically about this guy and this girl who are both trying to get into very prestigious colleges. Basically, their guidance counselor suggests that they should join debate team, and they do. They're arch enemies for some reason in the movie. I don't remember if it tells you why they are. They just are. And the movie kind of follows them, like, going through being on debate team and stuff, and, like, talks about, like, their families and their moms. It's a really cute movie. I personally just didn't enjoy it the first time I watched it. Again, another movie you have to watch a few times before you actually might enjoy it a little bit. But overall, it's a pretty good movie, so yeah, I guess watch it. In my 20th spot, I have 3 Generations. This movie follows the life of this kid, Ray. Yeah, Ray. I keep wanting to say Jay for some reason. And Ray is a transgender 16-year-old, basically trying to switch out of the school he's in now so that he can have a new life at this new school. But his mom is having kind of mixed feelings about some stuff going on. Overall, the movie itself is amazing. It's a really, really good movie. It just didn't spark interest really in me. Overall, it's a good movie. I just don't think it just didn't do it for me for a movie, I guess. I think it's a good movie. worth a watch if you want to watch it. It didn't interest me enough to be higher on the list, but it is overall a really good movie. In the 21st spot is Riptide. This movie has the infamous Debbie Ryan, the radio rebel, if you guys don't know her. Overall, I think the movie is okay. It's not a very memorable movie. It's about a model who basically has like a temper tantrum in public and people record it. And basically, she decides to, hide from the world. So she goes back to her aunt's house and goes surfing and meets a surfer dude. And you guys probably can put the rest in without even needing to watch the movie. If you want to watch it because Debbie Ryan's in it, go for it. It just isn't my favorite movie. That's it. That's all I have to say about it. Number 22 is Alex Strangelove. This movie, honestly, I got so bored while watching that eventually I just stopped watching it. The first time I tried to watch it, I fell asleep. The second time I tried to watch it, I ended up getting bored on my phone and played games for like the entire movie. And then again, I gave it another chance. I tried to watch this movie almost 4 times, and every single time I got bored and was uninterested. I can't even tell you really what the movie is about because I was so bored. I really just wasn't interested in the movie whatsoever, so I didn't really watch. So I wouldn't really suggest this movie if you get bored easily. It didn't interest me enough to really watch. It was just kind of like stuff was happening and it wasn't interesting and it wasn't really like a very compelling story to watch, so I just kind of was like, meh, and like didn't really watch the movie. So yeah, I wouldn't suggest watching. If you want to watch it, you can, but I wouldn't personally tell someone to watch this movie. In my 23rd spot, I have Sierra Burgess is a Loser. This movie, again, another movie that I just didn't like because it wasn't interesting. It's a very generic girl catfishes guy into thinking she's a hot girl. She's not that girl in the photos, so she has to pretend and get the girl in the photos to like pretend to be her, which is really weird. Overall, just didn't enjoy the movie, I think. The soundtrack's okay, I guess. If you want to watch the movie, go for it. But I wouldn't suggest. In the last and final spot, the 24th movie on my list, the one movie out of this entire list that I would say definitely don't watch, is Summer Night. This movie overall made me so angry, and I don't know why. It just made me mad. Basically, it just throws you into this summer night of this like group of random people that you have no idea who anyone is, and you don't even learn anyone's names until ow.
Bless you.
Thanks. Basically, you don't even learn a character's name unless they're spoken to in the movie, and sometimes they'll only say their name like twice and you just have to like remember it. This movie wasn't interesting enough for me to stay interested. Again, it actually has Victoria Justice in it, which is kind of funny. Her character itself is kind of cool, but the movie just wasn't interesting enough to keep my attention. It also just like, again, throws you into the middle of like this random group of people, and it doesn't give you any context to anything going on, even where they are, like literally anything. It just throws you in, and personally, I don't like it. So I wouldn't suggest watching. That's it. I've spent the last like 30 minutes talking about movies, so yeah. So that is my list from 1 to 24 of the 24 movies that I watched, so you don't have to. I think I would even up to like number 21 would suggest watching any of those movies. The last 2 probably wouldn't suggest, but if you want to watch it, you can. Up to you. It's your opinion and if you want to do it or not. Okay, so that is going to be it for this video. Comment, like, and subscribe down below, and do not forget to put on those post notifications so you get a notification the next time I post. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you all next time. Toodles!